So let's talk about Portugal.
We were on a flight for 50 to 100 hours.
So how you feeling? Like $1 million of Cheetos?
Talk to me after I eat, then I'll tell you.
So Lisbon is incredible. It's a really old, really beautiful city. It's one of my favorite cities I've ever been to. It's very pretty. It's cobblestone everywhere. The thing I will say about Lisbon is, though, it's very steep. Everywhere you go, you're walking either up 80-degree incline and you need a harness and rope, or you're walking down one. I don't know which is worse. There's also like these cool little like tram town car things that go up and down the hills.
When you're in Lisbon, you'll see a castle up on the hill that you should definitely go to. You do need tickets to get in there, but you can get them online.
Get them online, because the line when we showed up was like, what, 45 minutes? No one knew.
The castle has really great views. You can see the entire city from up there. There's also a bunch of peacocks. There's just a lot to explore in that area. You can walk around a lot there, and they don't have anything barred off yet. They could now, because you could definitely fall off that
blades at the bottom, and if you fall, it cuts you into salami, and then they serve you for dinner. But I would recommend going to that castle is one of the first things you do in Lisbon, because it gives you a really cool perspective. Also gives you a good lay of the land as to where things are and monuments are. It is incredibly beautiful. We got some really cool shots up there. So if you're a photographer, video, you just like to be aesthetic, you want to flex on the gram, it's a really good spot to do it. Really would recommend going near sunset.
There were these two breakfast chains that we kept eating at. It was called Deer Breakfast and Seventh Brunch.
If you're a foodie, and you also want your food that looks really, really pretty and well plated and beautiful, it's awesome. They got something for everybody. I eat like a 4-year-old, so it was really great to get some, I think I got some pancakes. They were delicious. Get some eggs, get some bacon. They have very Western American style breakfast there.
There is a place that you might have seen on social media where the street is pink and there's umbrellas hanging above. I don't know if it was just the time of day, but it just was not worth the hype.
We accidentally kind of walked through it. We didn't really make a plan out of it. And as far as Lisbon goes, there are a lot cooler things you can go see. That was kind of just felt like an Instagram influencer tourist trap. It wasn't bad, like go walk through it. Just, you know, don't get your hopes up that it's gonna be life-changing psychotherapy that you've been putting off for years, because it's not.
There's another place that we went where if you get on the train,
go down to the riverside, a ton of really cool monuments, a ton of really cool things to see. How did they build this? It's literally on the sand. There's usually people like playing music, but you see them really cool monuments. There's this one of big concrete, and it had these incredible people carved into it. So cool, really pretty. It was across the street from this gorgeous museum palace thing, which we didn't end up going into because the line was like unironically 3 hours long, so we're not that patient.
If you go down farther from there, you'll see this little castle that's like right on the beach, and you can walk up really close to it. I'm pretty sure you could go inside it.
Another condition of like an hour-long wait to get in.
Yeah,
though.
we didn't go inside. We just stood outside of it. It's beautiful on the outside. You can walk up close to it, below it, because there's a little beach area. You can sit on the steps and look at it. Belem Tower. That's what it's called. And you can honestly probably walk from there to the monument. I'm pretty sure we did that.
Also, it's great because there's a train line that runs along the entire riverside. So at any point, you typically aren't more than about a half mile from a stop. So if you get your little wakes tired, you can just go and hop on the train. You're right back in downtown in 15 minutes.
So if you stay on that train line and you go all the way to the end, you will end up in a place called Cascais.
Called Cascais. Carcanitas.
And we highly recommend you go there because it's absolutely beautiful. It has a little beach. It's really cute. It's cutesy.
It was beautiful. It's like every direction you looked was gorgeous. They actually have some really, really nice swimming beaches, which we did. It was a bit cold when we went. I don't remember when we went, September. I went in the water, but I'm crazy. And just walk around there. You don't need art to tell you where to walk.
If you like Moroccan food, it is a place called Ketch. It's, I think, K-E-C-H.
It's called a pastilla. If you're at any Moroccan restaurant, you should get it, but you should go there and get theirs because it is phenomenal. It's full of beef, so it's an entree. It's like a pastry, and it has this powdered sugar on it, and it doesn't sound like it would blend, but oh my lord, does it blend well. We went there twice because it was so good. Huge shout out to them. They're incredibly nice. I think if I remember correctly, it was cash only. So that is a good tip. So case, gorgeous. Again, we can't really do justice in a meaningful period of time. Sintra. I could be getting the history totally wrong about this, but Sintra is this gorgeous hill where I believe the very rich and powerful lived for hundreds of years. The National Palace of Pena is a giant, yellow, beautiful building. There's a tour where you can actually go inside the palace. Sucked. It really sucked. I think it would have been fun if there weren't 25,000 other people there, but they pack you in there like sardines.
The truth about European vacations. And we'll show everything to how pretty it is, and then we'll show this hill. The public service announcement to all tourists. Don't come here even once. Don't even bother.
And you're like, looking at like, and this baby cradle belonged to John Sycamore.
And you move like a snail. There's like literally no escape.
Just old furniture inside of it. The outside's magnificent. The architecture's magnificent. It's beautiful. You can see everything from up there. If you're a photographer or video guy, highly recommend you bring a long lens up there. Something like 70 to 200. Anything that has a longer focal length, because you can get such dope shots. And you get really pretty portraits. Here's some now. Here's the secret. When you buy your ticket, if you buy it at the front gate or online, make sure you include the transportation portion. It's only like a couple extra bucks. If you don't, you have to walk from the front gate to the castle, and that's like a mile
and
uphill.
It's uphill.
It is, and I mean, it is uphill. And if you're going during the summer, or even when we went in the fall, it is hot. Like it's not fun to walk up that in the beating sun. So get the bus ticket, it's worth it. That's what you're paying for when it says like transportation, because we didn't understand it. I just bought it because I just figured it'd probably be a good thing to buy, and it was a good thing to buy. When you leave, what we recommend and what we did is there is another castle below it. It's the most castle-looking castle you've ever seen. Moorish Castle. So it's below it. You can just walk along the road. It wasn't a very long walk, and it was all downhill. Oh God. It's a real life Skellington. This castle, it came from the factory. It has like factory default.
This is the most castle I've ever been in.
That was another one where like you can just go wherever you want to. There's no tours, just like it's more of like ruins, so you can just kind of check everything out.
Once you're done exploring that part, there's actually a bunch of trails that connect you back down to Sintra. You don't need to walk down on the road. It's a nature walk and it's quiet.
Now, one of my personal favorite places we've ever been ever.
Quinta Da Regaleira.
And make sure you get your tickets online so you don't have to wait in line, because that line can get really long and you can just walk up and get your ticket scanned.
Notice the common theme?
Get your shit online.
So the estate was owned by some super rich elite dude, and they were doing some crazy cult shit there. I don't know if cult's the right word. Like esoteric spiritual practices that if you or I saw would probably be like, that's a little peculiar. You know, it looked like horror movie, to summarize it in a nice way.
So the highlight of this place is this well with a spiraling staircase. You go in it and you walk down and spin and spin and spin and spin and spin, and now you're in the caves at the bottom of it. And it has something to do with Initiation Well, I think is what they called it.
It was something to initiate these people. Oh, it was a secret society. I forgot. The caves are all man-made. So these are carved out, and I believe it was several hundred years old. So they had people hand carving these caves for this secret society. That was pretty wicked, I'm not gonna lie, that was sick.
Yeah, like that area was really amazing, and when you get there, the line is probably gonna be really long. It moves pretty fast, and honestly, it's worth the wait regardless, because it's so cool. And I will say, as someone who's very claustrophobic, I was not scared to go down into the caves. It feels very open.
They also limit the amount of people who are like...
Yeah, so it's not crowded.
The rest of the estate's really cool as well. They just have a lot of trails, and we recommend just walking around. Really great photo spots there. Really, really loved a lot of the photos we took there. The actual house that was there was another one where you can go inside, it's free, you don't need a tour or anything. It's just really crowded, and again, it's like looking at furniture. If you're really into people's old furniture, you're really gonna love it. They also have a really cool bathroom, which is a weird thing to say.
Oh, the one in the cave.
Yeah, they have a cave bathroom.
That one's really cool.
It was
and it's
a
lit,
cool
really. It's very
yeah.
aesthetic. Oh, another thing with all these, when you're walking around, there's just random cave systems you can walk through.
Don't say that.
Boy,
raise your resonance chamber. If we find the right frequency, it'll open the secret portal.
And they're kind of fucking creepy because they're not lit.
But do it.
It's really fun.
And also, I'd say on that day, go explore Sintra as well.
Yes.
Just walk through
Also
downtown and
Yeah,
stuff.
because Sintra is really pretty as
Yeah.
well. But this all can't be done in one day.
See? Cloudflower loves his M&Ms. We didn't even check the reviews for the ice cream. It could be bad and we wouldn't even know it.
He's so cute.
After all of the Lisbon travels, we finally rented a car because we were going down to the coast. We specifically went to one called Portimao.
It was very new. It wasn't old. It didn't feel like there was a ton of history. The building, the architectures, everything felt very new. It felt like a lot of locals lived there. It's definitely a touristy spot. I could see during the summer it being very touristy. It's not really somewhere you go for history, but if you want to just relax, walk around, and not really need to get in your car, that's kind of how we did our trip. We just like chilled on the beach, and I don't remember the name. There's that Italian restaurant I went to a couple times. What is it? La Gioconda. Excuse my butchering of the pronunciation. That place rules, and their waiter was fucking awesome, and he was so nice to us, and we went back like 3 times, and the other one was
Super Juice, which is like a smoothie bar, also ran by the sweetest people ever. They had really good sandwiches and really good smoothies.
The beach there is unbelievably beautiful. It's really cool because it's like no other beach I've been to where all of the restaurants and businesses are like here. They're on this. It's like a cliff. And then the beach is down here. We spent hours there shooting. Outside of our Airbnb, one night we were walking back and we cut through the field next to our house, and this horse just came right up to us. I mean, like,
And it was dark, so like this figure.
and it just was the friendliest horse ever, and it wouldn't leave us alone because it kept wanting to be pet, and he wouldn't let us pass because he was standing in the way. And then this man and his family came. I think he was like Russian or something.
yeah.
And we were all petting the horse together, and then he like led the horse away because I grew up in suburb America and he probably grew up in Siberia taming bears, so he could just like communicate with the horse. Really cool experience. That was really fun. I remember that really well.
So next on our trip was Porto. So we got to our B&B and the vibes were off.
The vibes weren't there, man. The next morning we woke up and it was just like, for us, Porto felt like a really downgraded Lisbon. So we added a new stop to our trip. We went to Nazaré and it was sick. Now, what makes Nazaré so special and something we didn't know, they have the Red Bull competition, I think October, because that's the big wave season. The waves were big, man. I mean, even when we were there, they were big. There is a cool ass lighthouse you can walk to just by walking along the beach. It was beautiful. I really loved it. I got some really cool photos. We watched the sunset there.
The one thing you really have to do is go up the cliff. It's where people watch the waves when they come to these Red Bull tournaments.
That thing's creepy as hell.
That's really freaky looking. This is some quality footage.
I do remember it was really fun because there was a bunch of cats up there that you feel like you're gonna fall off and die because it's literally just a straight shot down, but they're cats, so they didn't fall off and die.
There is one restaurant that we ate at a bunch. It's called La Petite Vague, and they have the best sandwiches and desserts, and most importantly, it's just run by like the nicest women ever.
Felt like the mother who actually loved you.
To finish off this trip, we were going back to Lisbon. And there was a place we found. I think we found it on social media. It's a ravioli place, the Suviano. It's so good. They had amazing raviolis, also amazing tiramisu.
And that was the end of our trip. Or so we thought. So the next morning, we wake up and we're like, oh, see. Pull out our phones. And I have a notification from United. Incredible airline that has never made my flights late. Canceled our flight for no reason. We go up to the booth and the guy basically offers us this horrific flight. It added like 12 more hours of travel. I called my little brother. He ended up staying in Cascais. He rented a place. I'm like, hey dude, they f***ed our flight up. And he was like, oh, well, I have an extra bed here and you guys are welcome to crash if you need to stay the night. So we went into the United agent and we talked to him and we were nice enough to the guy. Turns out being mean doesn't really get you what you want. And he got us on effectively the same flight we were supposed to take, except it was 2 days later. Yeah, so we got 2 extra days. We hop on the train and we went to Cascais.
Just to emphasize how much we love Sintra, we took his brother to Sintra so we could go to that freaking well.
We got 2 extra days in one of our favorite cities, and my little brother had already paid for the Airbnb, so it didn't cost us anything more, except like the food that we were gonna buy food at home anyway, so not to get all philosophical on everybody, but sometimes things work out really, really well, and they feel like they're at the time, but they end up being really cool and special. So thank you, everybody.
Hugs and kisses.
Love ya. Bye.